Well, welcome back to Shimpling Park Farm. Well, Christmas saw our glorious annual visit from Tudor Primary in Sudbury, gathering wild foliage from the farm and making wild and natural wreaths. Then the tractors got tucked into a warm shed for the dark days of Christmas, and the arable team went home. The poor brilliant shepherds, well, their work never stops, and the sheep need feeding, even on Christmas Day. But it's been all go since our last diary film.
So today we're taking the rams out from the ewes. They've done their job. They've been in for about 6 weeks.
Are you tired? Are you tired? Very tired. Why do you put them in the trailer cab?
We'll get all the rams together and just make sure that if they're a little bit aggressive, just get back to know each other and they can't butt each other because they're in quite a confined space.
Yeah.
But now they've worked, they've calmed down, their hormones are sort of calming down.
The ewes are busily eating their grass and the haylage that we made for them last summer. Oh, it's breakfast time, girls. And in what seems like no time at all, the dream team are gathering the sheep back in again. So today is scanning day. Just like a pregnant mummy, we're going to have a look inside the tummies of the sheep to see what they've got. Singles, hopefully not too many. Twins, perfect. They've got 2 teats so they can feed 2. And then you may have some triplets and quads. Hopefully again not too many because it's difficult for mum to manage. And that's when you get ones that don't survive. But it's a bit of an exciting day. How's it going? Good?
Apart from the fact they keep sitting on my arm.
What's this one?
Single.
Singles, look. Where's how can you see
there.
it? Yep.
And its head.
Gotcha. So do you mark that one?
Yeah.
No spots for twins, a blue spot for the singles, and a red mark for those who are not due to have any lambs. What's that you're pumping?
Water, hot water. Just to get contact. Comes out on the road, basically.
Then Robert and Cameron and George sorted all the sheep into their groups, singles, twins, multiples, and into those that were due to lamb early and those due later. And off we go again down the road to our best suited fields. Some go one way, some go the other. They seem to know where they're going now, and they're all happy to be pregnant and eating. Well, the sheep have also been put to work on the crops side of the farm. Where we've got fields that we are going to have crops planted in the spring, we put temporary plants in them for over winter to feed the soil, to add organic matter, and to stop soil erosion. Green manures, they're called. But because we're organic, we can't spray these off when we want to cultivate them. So the sheep do the job for us.
It's just fantastic the way that they've, grazed this so evenly. On heavy soils, you've got to be very careful with the amount of stock you put on the field at one time, especially during the winter. And also it's just left the sort of soil open. So in the next few days, if we get another frost, we'll come and cultivate this and turn some of this green stuff in. But credit where credit's due, I have to say our shepherds have just done the most amazing job on this sort of grazing green manures.
What are we doing over here, John?
Well, I'm just coming over just to check my guys doing the last bit of ploughing. We're just ploughing after the winter, so we can leave the stubble in for birds over the winter. And we're ploughing very shallowly, but we have to do it now really to get ready for spring drilling, which should happen sometime in March.
Your shoes off, Sam. Can I come in with my wellies on or not?
If you stay on the mat.
It's a very skilled job ploughing in a straight line, and they do get quite teased if they plough a snaky or a wobbly line or furrow. This year they're ploughing towards the hedge, and next time this field ever gets ploughed, it'll be ploughed the other way. winter's also the time to work on trees, as the sap is down in the roots and it's not the bird nesting season. And also there are no leaves to deal with. This does look quite dramatic, but it's an ancient and an environmentally sustainable way to manage woodland.
Morning.
What are you doing up here?
Just carrying out some coppicing operations in the SSI woodland, producing material for the farm's wood chip boiler.
What is coppicing?
The system is cut them off at the stump, at the stall, leaving the root in the ground, and then the following growth year that root system will start to regrow and regenerate from the stump, and eventually further down the line will produce a crop of trees again.
So you're farming trees?
Basically, yeah. This woodland's deer fence around the perimeter, so obviously the deer are after the nice fresh young green shoots in the spring, and they'll come through here and chew it all off, which will prevent the stall from regenerating.
As well as eating off the shoots for brand new trees, the deer also damage and sometimes kill existing trees like this by scratching off their bark. How long does it have to dry before you can chip it?
A minimum of 12 months, probably a maximum of 2 years. But you need to get it down so it's below 20% moisture content, otherwise it becomes inefficient to burn and clogs the boiler system up.
Why do you leave all the branches on the floor?
Yeah, two reasons. We don't like to take them away because as they rot down they can add nutrients back to the woodland floor, then that can be taken up by the newly growing trees from the stumps. And also if we put it down as a mat, it protects against the machine basically squashing the soil, because compaction below the soil surface hampers the root development of the trees. Tons and tons of bugs and beetles and beasties will then help to really decompose it and break it all down over the coming years. But it is a really nice, interesting wood, and particularly on a day like today when the sun comes out, it's a cracking place to be.
While we're coppicing some trees, we're planting others. The last of the trees for our agroforestry have arrived. The boys have come back to plant them, but they have noticed a huge amount of deer damage. The deer are using the trees as a runway of food and nibbling the tops off as they come out of the tree guards. Because deer have no other predators, we do have to shoot some, but we obviously don't shoot them all. It's all about balance. Our fantastic local butchers have prepared the deer that we've shot. They're great advocates of eating deer or venison because it's a very natural and nutritional food, and at the same time protecting the local trees. But we have had some lovely, rather more welcome visitors to the farm.
Just started at the Wildlife Trust in December, so me and Jenny have been going out and looking at some of our farms that are better adapted for wildlife and nature.
Yeah, we're working with farmers across Suffolk, trying to encourage wildlife friendly habitats, so things like encouraging pond restoration, hedgerow management, these types of themes. We've been looking at the woodland where there's been some coppicing going on.
How's that looking?
Really good, yeah, really good. And yeah, we've looked at the ghost pond as well. So again, early days, but it's looking fantastic. It's got lots of wiggly edges and it's filled up nicely. We hope that amphibians will find the pond, so maybe things like great crested newt, but also invertebrates and dragonflies, and all sorts of life will come back. The wildlife is already on the farm, definitely organic, can be fantastic for wildlife.
What have you got in your hand?
Bloody balloon. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say that.
No.
It's so annoying that we find these on the farm, and I don't understand why people think it's okay to let them go in the countryside, because it's litter.
Yeah, they turn up all over the place, yeah.
Do they do any damage?
They can do, yeah, where the strings, kind of get eaten by animals, tangle up birds. Yeah.
So biodegradable balloons?
Yeah, definitely.
What are you here to do, Tamsin?
I'm here today to do some soil sampling on the fields around the farm. So the farmer can see where the crops aren't growing so well and what areas of the field they can treat to get the crops growing well. So we go to certain points in the field and we put a little T metal thing into the ground.
How do you know where in the field to sample from?
So there's a point on the floor that will tell you where to go.
Why do you take organic matter from the middle of a field?
Every 4 years they can go to that certain point to see how much it's improved.
And am I right in thinking that the more organic matter, the more carbon locked up in the soil, so
Yes,
that's a good thing?
correct, yeah.
The crops that we sowed in the winter are up and quietly growing, and the ditches are handsomely doing their jobs, drying out the wet and otherwise soggy fields. We're still feeding the sheep, and the machinery is all serviced and poised ready to plant the spring crops as soon as the weather allows. Thank you so much for joining us at Shimpling Park Farm. See you next time.